Once sooner or later, I'm going to have the ability to hit one button and my microphone's going to turn on. But for tonight, this is how we're doing things. Anyway, hey everybody, I'm Tabletop Misfits, and we're here for another episode of Tavern Talks. Tavern Talks episode 120. And I've got my buddy here, Talking XP, otherwise known as Johnny, otherwise known as Mason. And if you haven't hung out with us tomorrow, we continue our story with Candela Obscura, which I'm sure he's going to find out, or he's going to have a lot to talk about with that, because that's kind of his shtick. He's pretty solid with it, not going to lie. But before we start, of course, we're just going to let Johnny give kind of his little elevator's pitch, and then we'll get into some questions. And, of course, if you in chat have any questions, toss those in chat, and we'll answer those in the process. Take it away, Johnny.
Yeah, my elevator pitch changes every single time that I give it, because I should probably have some sort of a thing set up for every time that this happens, but oh well. I'm just going to rapid fire, right?
It changes.
Just going to rapid fire whatever I have. I'm Johnny. I'm Talking XP, at Talking XP on all socials. I run Ravenloft Misfits, which is a Curse of Strahd actual play that I run on Monday nights at 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. Usually every Monday night, but then every once in a while we take breaks and all that stuff. I also run Candela, like James was saying, where I have a multitude of different videos that are on my YouTube page. I teach you how to play, I give you some lore about the world, and then I also show you how I run stuff myself. So if you're interested in looking at any of that, my YouTube page, I have an entire playlist. I also have a TikTok where I do mostly the same stuff. That's me.
Awesome. Because I actually ran into Johnny just a couple weeks ago through North Wolf 911, who was here a couple months ago. Goodness, it's this. to say a couple weeks, a couple months, and then realizing like that's how long it has been is somewhat frightening. Not gonna lie.
I know, because we started, what, in the start of May?
Yeah.
Now it's like towards the end of June. And it's been
Right.
6 months since the start of 2024, and that is absolutely wild.
It's nuts, and it doesn't get any easier because like this week starts the countdown for Gen Con already. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I'm
Yeah.
not ready for
It's-
this yet.
Let's see, what is the countdown day for Gen Con?
It is. Like I'm getting there the Tuesday before.
Let's see.
So-
They usually have a countdown on there, right? It's at the very 43 days.
Yeah,
43 days.
we are under the 30-day mark.
Whew.
I will say it's going to be an intense Gen Con for me. I have a full weekend of gaming that I have to run. I know
Fun.
Johnny probably has all sorts of fun stuff planned.
I have some cool stuff planned.
Yeah,
Yeah, I got a game that I'm going to be running, or not running, playing on, and then I have a panel that I'm going to be running, which unfortunately is at the exact same time as North Wolf's panel. So
Yeah,
It
and,
is what it
and my
is.
games are like right in the middle of every day. So if it's in the morning or in the evenings, I can check them. If it's right in the middle,
Yeah.
I can't do anything.
yeah,
So, but yeah, let's see.
that's how cons go. So
It really is. It's like
Yeah.
how much can you squeeze in a convention time frame? I will say that is.
and then how late can you stay? And then how early can you get
wake
up,
up?
after that?
Normally the late is fine. It's that early morning that I'm
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
life is gonna kill me tomorrow.
it's rough.
Yeah, I think I experienced that worse at PAX Unplugged than anything I've ever done.
PAX Unplugged was like the nightlife for PAX Unplugged was like
insane.
crazy.
I
You
will
could
not-
just meet all of the people that you know.
I
that
haven't
have
gotten
a huge
through
following
all
and all
of
that stuff.
PAX Unplugged yet. These
Oh,
are
really?
business
Oh, wow.
cards for guests from
I
PAX
threw a lot of
Unplugged.
mine away.
I mean, they're just sitting here next. Well, because what I'll do is if I'm running out of guests or whatnot, I'll
Oh, that's a
grab
cool
business
idea.
cards and go, okay, we met. Let me
Yeah.
send an email out.
That's
But,
cool.
Yeah. So, speaking of that, if you are a game master, if you're a player, if you're a streamer, or if you are working on a new project, the calendar app has reopened throughout the beginning till the end of the year. So, for those people who want to be a part of the show, reach out and I'll get you a calendar app or a calendar invite. Finally pushed it. I did a lot of
Nice.
must get things done this week, and I don't know why. Also, for those
Yeah.
that celebrated it today, and I hope everybody did, it was Juneteenth today, so
Right. Happy
congratulations.
Juneteenth,
Happy
everyone.
Juneteenth. It was a day I got to stay home, which, I'm accepting.
Yeah. Yeah.
I didn't really think it was a big, I was talking to some people at work, and they told me that it's been a big holiday in certain areas for a long time. It's just now it's finally a federal, so.
It's
So I was
a
like,
it's a
huh.
cultural
Check that out.
holiday.
Yeah.
I mean, of course you have the people that have been ruling over this country for so long have been looking like us and
Yes.
not like black people.
Right.
So of course it's never been a holiday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now they're finally like at least trying to rectify it.
Right, 100%. At least they're doing something, and that is a big deal.
But yeah.
So yeah, we're not going to go down that path today, though. We're going to talk about D&D, and we're going to talk about TTRPGs and
Love
all
it.
that fun stuff. First thing I'm going to ask you though is when did you start getting into TTRPGs?
So
Because I'm finding more
That's
and
a great
more
question.
that the people that I talk to on here have started like much later in their life than I had expected. So
yeah. So what would you expect? So I am 30 right now.
so
What do you expect?
So like compared to like me, so I'm 35, but I've been playing since 2002.
Okay.
You,
All right.
I'm guessing maybe 10 years.
Yep. I started with the D&D 5e. So
Okay,
once
awesome.
once it came out, my friend got it, and then he ran the first game that I played. I did a paladin, obviously, and then after that, it was like immediate that I was like, yeah, okay, I could do this. And then so I took the DM. Everybody was like, I remember I went to my friend's house and he had an N64 in 2014. So they were playing like Mario Party or some shit like that. And there was only 4 controllers. We had like 6 of us. So we were just chilling, whatever. Then they were like, I want to play D&D. I was like, I got you. So I wrote and ran a small little one shot. First time ever running anything for them. First time ever DMing. And it went awesome. It was, I created a like giant bear that had like a sword still stuck in it because one of the hunters had died through it, and that's why the adventurers were hired into doing the battle with this thing. It was pretty sweet. It was a cool, first starting adventure, and
Yeah.
that just was the downfall of me because ever since then it's just been DMing.
Yeah. So I definitely can get behind that because that's been me for years.
Yeah.
I've been a game master. I will say the first time I had finally played in a game outside of one shot has been our Candela experience. Since I've been fully running campaigns since 2018 again. So yeah, I've not played a game since that. So yeah,
Our Candela is the first time that I've been able to play Candela.
okay.
I have a game called Triangle Agency, but that's more of just us fucking around the whole time. So it's
Nothing
like,
wrong with that.
I mean, I am getting to play for sure. It's just really funny. Just that game is just absolutely wild. Just so chaos.
That?
It's Triangle Agency. That's the name of the
system. Okay.
That is the name of the system. I think they release it either like next week or they might have delayed it. I can't remember. I remember hearing that they might delay it. I don't know. But it's supposed to be released soon. Right now we were just only playing like the the alpha or whatever it is. Like one of the Delta, that's what it is. The Delta version of it. So it's been in workshop for quite a while, and so that's what we've been doing. And then yeah, it's going to be released soon, and so that's going to be cool. But it's so funny. I always describe it as Triangle Agency is Candela but silly.
Okay.
That's what it is. It's you have like this weird silly idea of a like one of the episodes that we did was a phone tree. So it was a tree that was growing phones on it. And then you have to figure out how you can solve that. You're supposed to like answer the phone and like go through the phone tree or some shit like that in order to like neutralize it, kind of, right? And then the most recent one was like a Shakespearean saying where it was like exit bear or something like that. Something.
Right. There you go.
I don't know Shakespeare, so
yeah. No. So yeah, and then I'm not going to spoil anything, but once people figure out what Northwolf is doing in the Candela experience, you're going to be mind blown. Like we figured out some points of it last week, and whew.
Yeah. I am excited to see what happens tomorrow because
I don't know what's
we're supposed
to.
we're supposed to like end.
Well, no. Tomorrow shouldn't be Is tomorrow the finale? I thought tomorrow was the.
Tomorrow should be like the
finale.
End of what we do. I think I'm pretty sure whatever we do in next session is going to then inform the chapter 2. Like he said that we're not like. He said that this is going to be like this isn't the end kind of thing.
Right.
So I think that we're going to get like more pieces, but we're not going to like finish this.
Oh.
So we'll see.
We'll
see. It might be different. I mean, who knows? Because our group
is rough.
There it is. Exit pursued by a bear. That's the one. The entire episode we were pursued by a bear whenever we would exit things. That's what it is.
Pet polar bear gifted to the queen after a recent scientific expedition.
Yeah. So.
All right.
Triangle Agency.
There you go. Good thing to know too, because I work with a improv comedy club down in just like about 30 minutes south of here, and I had proposed to them to do an improv of Candela. But the problem is
Ooh.
they're so heavy on the comedy portion of it. I don't know how well
Yeah.
that one's gonna go. But now that you've given me this one, I'm like, ooh, Triangle Agency might actually work.
And
So
you can make the most wild characters ever. Like
yeah,
my character is an eldritch horror, like Cthulhu type sized eldritch horror, shunted into a human body and now learning about the world through human eyes. Like it's incredible.
right.
It is so funny, and there's just a whole variety of things that you can do as that type of a like game. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a lot of fun. And it seems to be
Yeah.
something that you really enjoy, which is like breaking down some of these very unique or different games to be able to make just understanding of it.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The
I
Candela
like to do
one for sure.
I like
was
to
good.
do that kind of a thing because like it's so funny. Like growing up I always took things apart and like learned how things
Yeah.
work already. Like I still do it. Like there was this broken, foot trash can where they like it was broken.
Yeah.
And so I just opened it up and then figured it out, and we were in like the middle of a store and just walking around with this tiny trash can. My wife is like looking at clothes, and I'm just like
do
trying
I
to figure it out, and then I
fix
finally
this?
fix it. And it's on clearance, so it's like, cool, whoever wants it can just get it on clearance.
can
I didn't even
have
want
it.
it either. I just wanted to fix it. Like, that was it. Yeah.
That's great.
It's fucking weird.
great. I love
but
it.
that's what I like to do with these kind of games too. And then once I do know how to play it, that's when I like to make videos and like show how to
Right.
play it and, tips and tricks and all that stuff, which is why I have the Candela videos that I like,
Which is why you and I
put
might have
together.
a conversation this fall to teach people how to play
Ooh,
the One Ring.
I got one too.
Yeah.
It's upside down. Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
a big one right now. For those who have been watching the show and who have been a part of the channel for a long time, you know that we were sponsored by Free League Publishing about 2 years ago, but due to life and craziness, it has been kind of put on hold.
Dude, that is such a real sentence right there, though. Like, that is like the content creation
It is.
just motto right there. Because of life. Like,
Yeah.
God.
And I mean, it's really
tough.
that bad coming forward because we were running games every other week or every week here on the show for a year, year and a half, and then I just
Yeah,
got burned.
that's a
I
lot.
was done.
Yeah. I don't blame you, because that is a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm only running one campaign
Yeah,
once per week, and I'm already like, whew, thank God it's almost done. Like,
yeah. I mean, I'm kind of
Oh,
at
man.
that point. Like I love my Monday night Gen Con campaign, and I think the honor to be able to even play on their channel is awesome. However,
right.
you're exactly true with that. Like, there's a part of me that goes, large form campaigns are great, but these like mini campaign things, these are where it's at because I don't
That's
have to
exactly what I think.
freak
Yeah.
out as much. I don't have to. I can prep when I need to, or I can prep a full blown arc, and then just be done with it. Like I don't have to fight it. I don't have to try to figure extra things out. I'm just there and I'm good to go. And
Yeah.
I think that's kind
That's
of
how I feel too.
and that's what I want to do with this new one for the One Ring. Is I want to tell a single story with a single group of
Yeah.
players, and then be like,
Yeah.
okay, we're done. 3 months later,
Right. And
we'll
you
bring
could
a
just
new
do
one.
arcs too.
Yeah,
You could even like
Right.
That's what I'm thinking too, is like I want to create I have it's so dumb. Like
here we go. This
I
is
have
the
had
content
this
creator
I've had this
horrible.
campaign idea for so long, right? And I started this campaign at around the same time as Critical Role started their my Ravenloft campaign.
Right.
I started at the same time that Critical Role did, which is funny because we're like pretty even on episode numbers, but they have a lot more because they have money and people that are living local and able to actually do that because
Yeah,
again money.
money.
But I'm wanting to do this campaign, and I've wanted to do this campaign since before Curse of Strahd started, where the gods are gone and what happens to that. And then, of course, campaign 3 of Critical Role is all about the gods and like, should they be gone? Should we destroy them? And all of that shit. So I'm
Right.
like, God damn it. Now I'm going to look like I'm following them if I do that campaign idea. We'll see.
Yeah.
I might just end up doing it anyways.
I mean, it's going to be different. It's going to be in Barovia. It's going to be a different world. Are you doing it in Barovia? Oh, you don't know.
I mean, I'm thinking I'm almost I don't know. I haven't decided yet. Because I might want to do my own campaign setting. I don't know. We'll see.
I will tell you that is the hardest thing I have ever done is starting to like actual world build to that point. But
Yeah. Yeah. I did one for my home
yeah,
game a while ago, and it was too much.
yeah, it becomes so much.
Yeah, and if you're playing every week too, especially with my ADHD brain, because my brain doesn't allow me to go past maybe like 5 sessions. So I can plan like an arc, but that's it. Like I can't move forward and plan anything past that because I don't get dopamine from it, and my brain is like, fuck that. I'd rather play video games. Like,
No, you're absolutely
I can't
right.
help it.
Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
My big issue is like I am so tuned to wanting to bring a good experience to the players. I can't plan more than 1 or 2 episodes ahead, like at all, because
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, where are we shifting? What are we doing? What's the plan? And to me, it's almost getting like I'm trying to go to the arc level. Like that's my goal is to be at like 5 sessions. Okay, by the middle
Right.
of 3 or 4, I can start saying, okay, this is where the players are going to end their story. This is what they're going to move on to next.
yeah.
Like currently, our situation we're running into right now is the small mini arc we did with Northwolf for our Monday night show has now spun into an entire arc of hunting orcs. So I'm like, well,
Wait,
let me
shit.
let me. We're gonna go hunt orcs for the next like 4 or 5 episodes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. That's funny.
but it is what it is. Let's see here.
You can't ever the players' plans never make it past the first encounter, but the DM's plans also never make it past the first encounter with the players. Like
Yeah,
it just doesn't
happen.
work. It's
You know, and my thing is especially on like the way my brain works, it really doesn't work. Like for storylines that are built for a story and only for a story, and the players are kind of there to enhance that story.
right.
I think those work really
Yeah.
good for shows. I think
Yeah.
I love what we're doing with Candela, but I feel like Candela is built for the story, and then the players are there to enhance the story, not the other way around.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Um,
That's one of the biggest things I think about Candela that's so good is that it's like you create a monster that is going to wreak havoc if there's no investigators there to do it. So like you get to plan the story of what happens without the players. Okay, cool. Now introduce the players and what are they going to do?
It? Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah, I like that kind of storytelling.
Yeah, and I like it too. It's just for me, it's one of those things where it depends on what I'm running, right? And I think that
Sure.
mini arc thing is really built for that moment. Is those?
Yeah.
Let me write the story. Let me get what I want the story to bend out to, and then let's see what happens when the players are put into that situation.
Right. Yeah.
And I think that's what we're going to do
Yeah.
for our secret One Ring story coming up in the fall. So, Pyrea just jumped in. What are you guys discussing? We are on a cat trail tonight. Like there has been no full discussion. It is BSing to the max.
ADHD.
And we knew this was going to
ADHD.
happen. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we started on the idea of talking about how it is to build, how you did your setup for getting to the point where you could write tutorials.
Yeah.
and teaching.
Yeah.
And then we just went right off the deep end. So.
Just kind of bouncing over different ideas. I mean, now we're talking about long form campaigns versus short term campaigns, like arcs instead of that, and just how much both me and James are like short term campaigns are the way to go because then you don't have that overarching like
Yeah.
dread that
Right.
you always have every single week to always prep and be ready for anything. Yeah.
I do think though, my goal right now is to try to trick my brain into doing arcs, because I think really, in all honesty, you can build a long-term campaign out in arcs very easily.
That's what I do with Ravenloft at this
Yeah.
point. I mean,
Right.
like, obviously there's a through line, but that's how I've been prepping the past year.
Yeah.
And it's worked out pretty well, but, like, you still have the every week thing.
Yeah, the every week grind.
Yeah.
And then for somebody like myself, that consists of building maps, loading everything into a VTT. Like those things get exhausting.
Yeah, I definitely got burnt out on making maps. Like, I love making maps. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
But then when you have to make maps and you're not doing it for fun anymore, that's when it's like, I'm just going to find something on the internet and then just not put it on the stream and just give this to my players and say, here you go.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I don't get the luxury of
lot.
just giving it to my players and say, here you go, because all of my players currently are streaming something. So
well,
that does hinder a problem. Mind
Yeah.
you, I just bought a brand new gaming table and it has not been used to game at all yet. And it's been in my house for almost 2 months now. So
man, I got so many new games that I got Root that I haven't been able to play,
Oh,
Betrayal.
nice.
Yeah, I got like there's a Lord of the Rings game that I still haven't played. I've been so busy with streaming and all that stuff.
And you've
I
been
haven't
writing,
really been.
and you've been
then-
writing a lot with Candela too.
Oh yeah. Me, Margot Mods Games, which is Andy, and then Janelle, who's Boss Jellybean. The three of us have been working pretty hard on getting a series of one-shots written for Candela. We started our first one. Yeah, I'm sure we could talk about it. I don't know. It's only 3 people, so I don't. Anyways, Mr. Nightfall is our first one-shot that we're thinking about, that we're going to be publishing. So we're really working on the monsters that are already in Candela so that they can, see the information there. And then also now you have a compatible one-shot that you can get on Drive-Thru RPG or whatever. We're kind of talking about Kickstarter or something like that. I'm not entirely sure for the entire. I don't know. I don't really get involved with like the financing stuff. That's more of Andy Speed because
Nice.
they're doing a Kickstarter for their D&D murder mystery that they're going to be starting at the end of July. It's called Murders at Lorlock Manor.
Okay.
It's cool.
Nice.
Andy is such an excellent writer.
I'll need
the
to meet him. I don't
ideas,
think I've met him yet, so
the ideas that they come up with is absolutely incredible. Like the first like just one-shot murder is just incredible. Like it's great. It's great. It's
do you know
I can
were they at PAX?
They were not. No. So
Okay.
this is going to be Gen Con is going to be their first convention of going to anything ever. So
okay.
Yeah.
Well, then we will meet.
So-
we will meet at Gen Con.
right, I will be introducing them to everyone as well as Janelle, and
Right.
it's going to be great. We have an entire house of just creators that we're all getting together, and then we're gonna swarm Gen Con together. It's gonna be
That's
great.
awesome.
Yeah, I'm super excited.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, Murders at Lorlock Manor. Check it out on Kickstarter.
if you can give me a link, I'll drop it up.
I can do that.
Yeah. We actually have had 2 people come up this week. I've had 2 emails come in of people wanting us to do some product review for different products for their Kickstarters. So might see that coming up as long as I can get the bandwidth to do it. I promised them.
Even if it's just this one shot is, like I said, so well written that it's like it'll keep your entire party just guessing the entire
that's
time
crazy.
because
That's
like
good.
it's really cool. Like it's really cool. So I sent you the link on Discord. And yeah, I can give you a little sneak peek at that one shot if you want to take a look at it too. That'd be awesome. But It's great. It's a good one shot. Go follow them on Kickstarter whenever the link
Go check it
jumps
out.
in the chat. There it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
No,
Give
like
them
I
a
said,
follow,
it's
it's
been
free.
crazy that I got an email from So Many Robots a couple days ago, and they said, "Hey, we've heard of you and your show. Would you be interested in promoting or product reviewing our new Kickstarter coming out?" And I was like, "Okay." Like, I was like, "I'm not gonna charge anything because I've never done a product review Kickstarter, but it is what it is."
Yeah, yeah.
'Cause I never know what I'm
I
like.
did
I never know what I'm
Headtails.
like worth on it. I guess it's the biggest problem.
Dude, I know. That's one of the biggest things about like this
This world,
industry
this
is that there's
industry.
not I mean that yeah, I guess this world, capitalism in general, but like we tie so much intrinsic value to follower count
Yeah.
when like X% of followers of any creator is just bot accounts and things like that, and then like how many actually interact with your
Right.
your content, and then on top of that how many interact on ads that you run. It just, and then there's like the quality versus quantity type
Yeah.
of thing. Like they might have a bunch of followers, but are they a shit poster? And like, not that there's anything wrong with shit posting. Don't get me
pays
wrong,
the
because
bills.
it's great. But like at the same time, like it
Right.
just, yeah, that whole thing is so tough to navigate. And then on top of that, understanding your personal worth
Right.
as compared to everybody else. I had one company that was like, "Hey, you want to do a thing for me? What are your rates?" And I'm like, I don't know.
Free stuff.
They're like, "Okay, cool." Yeah, I mean, like really, like that's pretty much where I'm at, because I mean, this isn't my
This isn't
it's
my
not
day
my
job.
full-time
I'm
day
not
job. There you
having
go. That's what I'm
Yeah, I'm not having to pay the bills with this.
right. I'm just doing this for fun,
Yeah.
you know? Which, I mean, I guess there is a point to say, like, there is only so much time per day that we have.
I mean, you're right there.
So-
and over time, and I mean, that's something I've figured out over the last couple of years, is that is a big deal. Is for me, it became, how much dedication do I really want to put into certain things, and how much dedication do I just want to have fun doing this stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I love every player I've played with on the streams or even my interviews. I'm not going to say every, but 99% of the people that I've had have been absolutely fantastic. And that
Right.
community alone, I was like, oh, okay, I'm around like-minded people that all enjoy having fun and creating things. So for me, it's like, it's no different.
Right.
But when it comes to starting to put money value to it, I'm like, I don't know. I start feeling weird.
Yeah.
Not gonna
Yeah.
lie.
Especially one of the hardest things as like a person that runs their own channel is like, sure, okay, I got X amount of subscriptions this month. What do I do with that money? I mean, like, I know that I have to pay my operating costs,
Yeah.
but again, I have a full-time job on my own, and then some people might not, and then
Right.
like, can I pay them? But like I can't, and then like
Right.
it's money just makes everything so much more complicated than it needs to be.
Pirates trolling us in channel.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
I mean, honestly, I
this is
I
why
don't
you're
blame
here,
you.
right? You're
Right.
You're here listening to us. You can hate us to death. It's alright. We good.
Same right back.
We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, your TikTok that you made definitely wasn't good at all. I definitely didn't like it
Right?
at all.
Yeah, didn't like it. Didn't reshare it. Repost it. I love it. But no, that's the thing, and even our creators, I will say, for the crew that is literally out in the world that do creations, like dice makers, 3D modelers, they're still, if you're in the community, they are still underpriced. Like,
Oh yeah.
I have gotten an incredible amount of just stuff for what I consider way undervalue. Like,
Yeah.
my good friend, he was on here a couple weeks ago. Freedom from Thunder Wizard Games.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Freedom's
so
cool.
Got me my first. So he's helping me build the building or what I need for Gen Con. So I got my first
Cool.
set for all you people.
So cool.
And I've got like 12 more rooms coming and 30 pieces of forest terrain that we're using there, and when he priced
So
it out,
cool.
I can't. I have to give you more. Like, this is absolutely
Yeah.
ridiculous amounts of work to be done. And then, but I will say it is great because now it's building that relationship, because now we're talking about doing a full or a partially terrain based stream for the Lord of the Rings campaign. So he's going to help me build out all the terrain for it. So then I'll have to do it. I'll be streaming from the kitchen so that you can get the full tabletop view.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, the Secret of Chelsea, I think,
Yeah.
was saying underpriced, but then if you charge what it's worth, people won't buy it because people don't buy it as it is anyways.
Yeah.
That is really tough too,
It is
because
tough
you have such huge companies to
to battle against.
compete with.
Yeah.
Like, just dice makers, you have like Misty Mountain, and then like mini painters and creators, 3D printer people. You have Hero Forge that has it like easy with the character creation thing that's all there, and then
Their
the list goes
creation-
on and on and
yeah,
on.
It goes on.
Dwarven
and on.
Forge and yada yada.
Yeah.
It's tough.
But,
Yeah.
and that's why I said, like, I can't pay what it's worth, but I can pay more than what you want to pay me to pay. So like that, I kind of try to do that balanced out thing.
Yeah.
And then sooner or later,
Yeah.
we're opening up a PO box finally for Misfits, because some people are just like, hey, we're gonna send you stuff, and I'm like, sending it to my house is weird. It's just my thing on it, and I've had it for years now where they just send it to the house, and now I'm just like, maybe I should actually be
Maybe PO box. Yeah.
be proper.
I looked into it, and it's like $60 to $100 a month, and I'm like, I'm not getting enough shit to make it
Really?
worth
The
it.
one I got
From where I'm
looking
at.
is like maybe 20.
The ones
So-
that I was looking at are like a medium-sized one, like 60, and then a large was like 100.
Oh yeah, the large
And
ones
depending
are
on-
stupid price.
Yeah, I would never get the large one, but
Yeah.
the medium one was like $60, and I was like,
Yeah, maybe not.
I can't get the small one because it's only like
For
a few
letters and
envelope
stuff,
size. But what if they send like
Yeah, I mean,
a starter set that is
Yeah.
not just a few letters thick? It is like
Yeah,
a
it's
box.
a box.
Like, I can't get it then.
or when Free League sent me the entire thing for that the last time we did it, because it wasn't just that box; it was that box plus the Rivendell stuff, plus the extra portfolios and dice, and I was like. Mind you, Free League is amazing. For anybody who's never worked with them, they are absolutely an incredible company.
Yeah, Free League is so easy to get into contact with too, which is awesome. Like, they send out those emails every time that they come up with something and say, "Hey, if you're looking for something, just let us know. We can
Yep.
send you a thing." Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Super chill. I really like them.
Yeah, Arc did have
They
a
have
point.
really good
I
stuff.
have read about this. So small PO boxes have pickup slips for packages bigger than your box. So they just hold them in the
Oh,
back. Yeah.
that's good advice that I will now take. I will look. You know what? That changes things. Okay.
Right? Like if I can
Okay,
get if I can
cool.
get the tiny PO box that just puts letters in it, I'm good. I'll grab the
I'm gonna
box
do that
later.
now.
I think
Yeah.
the big PO boxes are there more so for like if you want to pick it up after hours and things like that, like with no issue.
True.
This
True.
way you just pick it up directly from the people. So yeah, cool.
Yeah, I'm
We're learning.
off during their hours anyway, so I might as well just.
Yeah, we're
That
learning.
oh man, that's such a good trick. Thank you so much. That is awesome. Damn,
Yeah.
45 for 7 small?
Yeah,
that's
and I get
awesome.
Massive orders.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna look
that.
more into that because I'm
Yeah.
getting to that point where I
Arclight's
need to
great.
get a PO box as
If
well.
you've never checked out Arclight Court, he's definitely a supporter of the show. He runs Power Rangers, the TTRPG, and he runs a very awesome.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
How do you like it so far? Cuz I
He's
ran
been
it when
running
it
for
first
months and months.
I ran it when it first came out, like last year or something like that, 2 years ago, and we broke the game like immediately. We were doing like crazy amount of damage as like a level 1,
Yeah.
like way too much, and it was like it was ridiculous. So I'm sure they went through like a lot of changes since they first, released it, but it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it.
I just bought the physical copy. I've had the PDF for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is the Power Rangers
The
guy.
Power Rangers guy. Yeah.
I
love that.
completely agree. But
Yeah. I'm the Candela person. So
kind of, yeah.
I feel it.
I don't know
Yeah.
many people that are running Candela at the level you are. So
I think I've ran like 7 different one shots. The only person that's ever gotten to that point that I've seen is Northwolf, which
Yeah.
I'm also on. So
right, yeah. So there is that.
God.
So that's something we could talk about tonight as we're about
Yeah.
halfway through. What does it take to build a investigation for Candela?
Not much.
Okay.
So what I typically do, and they kind of outline this in the book as well. There are like 5 different sections that you want to prepare for.
Mm-hmm.
So one is called the call, which is like, it's mostly RP. This is where like your lightkeeper or the leader of this circle that you have will send out. This is like that first session that we had where everybody was coming into the
Right,
quiet
trying
rooms.
to tie everybody
That was the
together.
call. Exactly. You're calling on all of your investigators to come in, and then we're going to discuss what's going on in the investigation. Here we are. Cool. That's the call. This is something that's optional. You could just be moving on to the second part, which is the arrival. That is where, so typically when you open up a Candela game, you describe something happening.
Mm-hmm.
And that usually represents the information that your circle already has from the discussions that they had with their lightkeeper. And then the arrival, which is that second part, is when you're arriving to that place.
To the location.
So in one of the Candela, I think the one with Spencer Stark, it goes to the ghost mom that kills the dad or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
They start on a train, but that's like a different thing altogether. But then the next part is that they arrive at that house and they already have all the information of this is what happened, yada, yada, yada. So that's one thing. But that's the arrival. You look for clues. I usually set like 3 or more clues to bring them to the next part, which is the exploration phase. You typically have an exploration 1 and then an exploration 2. Then you move on to the escalation part. This is where everything is getting more and more drastic and more tense. That's the escalation 1, escalation 2, and then you have the climax, which is just the end of everything. Each of the arrival, the exploration, and the escalation, each of those parts I typically have a place, 3 clues, and interesting NPCs, 1 or 2 in there that they can find. And then outside of that, I just come up with whatever NPCs that come off the dome because, that's the GM experience.
Yeah, it's the GM experience. I
But
think it's hilarious.
other than that, like...
And the rats.
I-
There's always rats.
Right, of course. And the rats, yes, exactly. You don't really have to do too much in terms of, like, nitty-gritty details like with D&D, because, like, with D&D, you have to figure out what traps there are. With D&D, you have to have magic items, and you have to have stat blocks for things. And then you have to figure out a map that your party can, go through, and creating those maps.
Right.
So...
Yeah, either
with
internally
Candela-
or out, you still have to have that map to walk the players through for the adventure.
Exactly. So Candela is a lot more like theater of the mind. Like you could have a map and that's totally fine. But you like with one of the in the very beginning and the most recent one that I did was all about doppelgangers and how they basically infiltrated the political system, and it's super cool. It's one of my most recent ones. But like I didn't have any of the homes planned out, like the outline, the how it was set up, like where the kitchen was or where another room was or
Right.
whatever layout. I didn't have the layout set up. I was just like, yeah, sure, this makes the most sense. There's a hallway here, yada yada yada.
Right.
So that's one thing that I really like about Candela is that yes, you have to figure out the clues, You have to figure out how you get from point A to point B to point C to point D to the end.
Right. That's really it.
But outside of that,
Outside of that,
you're just riffing.
And
Exactly, you're just riffing off of the players. You're throwing out bleed, body, and brain marks whenever something crazy happens. That's about it.
Okay. Yeah, it sounds like I said, and it sounds, and I think for me, because I got such a luckiness of being a part of your group, and Northwolf putting so much time and effort into it, that like it felt like it was very detailed on like clues and putting the pieces together and things like that. But
Right.
I feel like that seems to be the main points to that adventure. Like if you just build the clue set, you're done. Like really, you can kind of riff the rest of it with no issue. So
Yeah, and I mean, like, come up with like an NPC here, an NPC there.
right.
Good to go. Yeah. And then, like, you could create your own story on top of it, like what happened. And that, I mean, that's usually where all of the story comes from. Anyways, you have an idea, you want to do something with it. This is where the story is. Cool. Now you're creating the clues. Like, that's pretty much it. But that's like the natural writing process, anyways.
Right.
So, yeah,
Yeah. That's cool.
it's great.
No, but like I said, and it definitely kind of brings it for me because like I was thinking, oh, it'd be cool to try to make my own. Knowing that really I'm focusing on those clues. I'm focusing on getting you from point A to B, C.
Right.
Compared to how it is with Dungeons and Dragons, it's to me it's much more it's clue based, but it's different, right? Like a lot of times you're taking the hero's journey. You're not trying to discover anything just yet. You're trying to decide what the players really are going to their motives are for things. And then you just give them a main hit.
I also like how Candela is very, compared to D&D, is a lot more rules light.
Yeah.
There's 9 things that you can do. And that's it.
Yeah,
and
it's
then you
super
have
simple.
one set of dice of D6.
Now, I will say...
And then, like, you fail so often. So, like, it's wild.
It is. It's super wild. I will say, though, for the most part, it is six sets. Like, it's super simple. The occultist scares the hell out of me.
The occultist is so
There
cool.
is so much
and
stuff
that's another
going
thing
on in that character. Like, I'm like,
I
what
know,
is
just
happening?
touching stuff to like connect to the dead is wild, absolutely insane. And then they have this one ability that you can pick up. It's called Forbidden Ritual, where you take an immediate scar to change the surroundings around you. It's wild. Yeah, I'll have to like find it and read it, but it's an insane ability that you could just do.
That's awesome. So let's. I'm gonna kind of roll us the other direction for a moment.
Sure.
Have you played Daggerheart yet?
I have.
Is it?
I ran it.
Different? Is it similar to Candela, or is it have its own full mechanic?
Different.
Shift? Okay.
Yeah, it's its own mechanic thing. It's a lot more similar to D&D than it is Candela.
Okay.
So one of the cool things about Daggerheart is that it has a very unique rolling system where it's 2d12.
Okay.
One of your d12s is your hope die, the other one is your fear die, and based on which one is higher, that's how the results result.
Got it. Okay.
So if you have like a 12 on your hope die and a 3 on your fear die, that's a 15 total with hope.
Okay.
So that is most likely a success. The DCs are very similar to D&D.
Okay.
Which is nice because a lot of people that are going to be going to Daggerheart are already used to D&D. So coming back over to those DCs and then now going into this difficulty, I think is what it's called. But going over to that, it's going to be a lot easier for them for the GM specifically to figure out how hard something is.
Right.
But yeah, so like a 15 with hope, suppose that succeeds. Now you're succeeding with hope, which is like the best that you can get. If it was reverse and it was a 12 with fear, a 3 with hope, it would be succeeding with fear, which isn't, you succeed, but not the way that you thought you would. And then failing with hope is you fail, but not as bad as it could have been. And then failing with fear is
bad.
just the worst that you can get.
The worst situation
And
you
also,
could run into.
crit rolls are anything if you double them. So 1 1, 2 2, 3 3, 4 4, all the way up. Those are all criticals, which is crazy that you can get
A critical on a double
that
one.
many. Right, like a double 1 is a critical. Same with a double 12 is a critical. But
Right.
like having 12 different outcomes that you can get on top of, I don't even know how many statistic stuff it's gonna be for the dice. I'm not even gonna try.
12, yeah.
Right. But like having 12 different options instead of just the one on the 20 is just crazy.
Yeah,
and then
so it's actually,
and
they have
then-
a table, like if you roll ones or you roll twos is critical. If you roll twos,
oh no,
just
it's
coming
not
up.
it's nothing like that. It's just 1 and 1 and then
Okay.
like it's a crit. I have like the home rule where like if you get a double 12, that's like a super crit. Like
Right.
you get something and then something and then something. So that's one of my
Nice.
things. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I really like the 2d12 system, and then also with having hope and fear, those are resources that you can use as a player and a GM. So hope goes to your players. There's a lot of abilities that only activate if you have hope points. So you can keep them every session, I believe you get 2.
Okay.
So with each session you're able to refresh some of those, and then
Right.
like every time that you roll with hope, you gain a hope point. So it's something that you can use pretty often. And then also on the fear side, those are points that the GM can do to activate like a really big move, right?
Okay.
So there are monsters that have fear moves as well as their regular moves. So if you have fear points, then you can spend one in order to do that as their action for their turn.
So very similar
And they're-
to like recharges for monsters. It
Yeah,
sounds
similar
like,
to recharges. Yeah.
but it's a little different
one
for
of-
the balance.
Their way of combat is interesting too. So what it's kind of similar to Candela in a sense, where there's no initiative. It's very much who wants to go. We're going to keep it freeform. You let me know what you want to do. Most of the time it just turns into turn-based anyways, where it's like you're going, cool. What ends up happening is you roll to hit. If you succeed with hope, it continues. So then it goes to the next player.
Right.
Succeed with hope, continues. Moves on to the next player. Succeeds with fear. The GM has 2 options. They can either take a fear point or they can take the initiative. So then all of those actions that just went by, so that was 3, those are 3 action points that then the GM can use for the monsters on their side. So now that it's my turn as a GM, I can use 3 monsters. Each monster can only go once, do one thing every round.
Right.
So I can spend a fear point to end a condition on a monster. I can use an action point to do an attack with a monster. I can have them like run and then like attack as well. And then I can use a fear point to then use like their fear move for an action point as well. You can also use fear points to convert them into action points. So each fear point is 2 actions, and vice versa. You could do 2 actions for 1 fear point. So if there's like a big monster, you can only do 1 attack, and you have 3 points. Take the fear point, use the fear move, and then it goes back to the characters. You know,
That's
so
cool.
it's pretty interesting. And then also environments have their own fear moves as well. So like in the adventure that they have for like the example adventure, at the very end they have a environment move where it spawns more skeletons.
Okay.
So you can use a fear point to then do that on the GM's turn, and then boom, there's more skeletons, and now you can have more action points to go through, and exactly. It's really interesting, and it's super balanced because you're only ever doing the same actions at all times.
Got it.
So it's pretty interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, that's neat. I'll have to try to get into a game this summer or this fall or something if I can find somebody who's running it. But
Once I'm done with Ravenloft, I think I'm going to be doing, like we talked about,
Yeah.
Arc
Arc-based.
games.
Yeah, same.
Where there's like 4 or 5, and I will be having a bunch of people on, so I got you on the list.
Sounds good, man. So we're about to wrap up, but there is one thing I still want to talk about tonight.
Yeah.
And that is what happened last week.
So, I have the shirt, Critical Role's live show shirt. They sent me an email, which I thought was a marketing email at first, and I was about to delete it, but then I saw my name on it. And so I opened it, and it said, "You are invited to Critical Role's live show, VIP ticket." And I was like, what the fuck? I just freaked the fuck out. Freaked the fuck out, right? And they were like, yeah, you could take your time for RSVPing. It'll be the next week by the time that you need to RSVP deadline, whatever. I immediately RSVP'd. Like,
I'll find
so
a way
quick.
here. Find a way here.
So quick. So, I mean, I'm in Oregon, so I had to find a flight, had to, fly down. I had family down there, so thankfully I didn't have to really pay for much. It was just the flight. But, yeah, went down for the live show. The live show was so good. Like, I think it's coming out this Thursday. Mm-hmm. It was so good. Like, the way that it ended was like the craziest way that it could have helped or could have happened. I read a word. But
okay, I am mad at every one of you tonight, so I will talk to you guys all tomorrow. This is
It was super cool. I think, and then I also got, this was what I ran to go grab earlier. The community manager handed out, here, hold on. So there's this coin, right? And it celebrates their 8th anniversary. Here.
Oh, look at that. That's so
cool. The Chainsbringer coin. So, I got that. It was really cool. But yeah, the way that it ended was absolutely insane. So if I'm not gonna throw any spoilers out there, but it was cool. It was really dope. Yes, we are talking about our trip.
At the end here, you, Pyrea, and Janelle, none of you were following the channel.
See, how did that happen? I swear I went to your channel. I don't know. Like, okay, so right before we went live, I was like, oh, I'm not following. That's weird. Because I went to every single one of our players and did it. So maybe it wasn't on the thing, because I know that I'm following everybody else. Because I'm going through right now and I'm making sure. Because I am. I don't know. Maybe it just wasn't linked.
It might.
I have no clue. Who knows? But now we are. So that's all that matters, right?
No, it does. It is all that matters. Actually, no, I don't really. I thank you for following. In all honesty, I'm just joking around with these people.
Of course.
I will see them all tomorrow, and they're going to torture me anyways, because I am the only character in Candela that really does not understand the whole bleeding and stuff like that. So
I'm so excited for this. It's gonna be great. Yeah.
No, I think everybody has been following us on Instagram and on Threads and things like that, but I don't think everybody popped over here to Twitch. So
yeah. Well, I am following you on everything else.
I know
it was just Twitch, and I was like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh yeah, I got this shirt too.
Yeah, I saw that.
Off topic.
Yeah,
but
yeah. Ooh, that's awesome.
It's sweet.
I hate that. I mean, we're gonna finish this up here shortly, but I'm sad though, because I've not been able to get into season 3 as much as I was season 1 and 2.
So,
and it made me sad because I really do like Critical Role, and I think their quality is great. I just felt I cannot get into season 3. I went all the way
season
past
3
through Laudna and finding out about the connection with the Briarwoods, and then after that I just kind of faded. I think one of the reasons why I felt the same way at the very beginning, but now I'm a lot more into the story, and I think the reason why is because they didn't really feel like they had a through line in the very beginning.
it didn't really feel like they were like reaching for anything,
Right.
except for like, some weird wacky shit is happening
In the
to
sky, yes.
Imogen, like, right, like there wasn't anything that I felt was like a through line that I could follow.
Pulling.
It was just a bunch of like, different small
Right.
stories going through. But now that they're going into the story that they're telling right now, I definitely
you're
feel a
sold.
lot more, a lot more invested in the story than I was before. But yes,
Yeah.
campaign 2 was like my
Oh, I love
biggest-
campaign 2.
yeah,
But I think
it was
for
my
me,
biggest
is like,
thing.
not only that, I have had a hard time buying into the characters this time too.
Yeah, I get that.
Like campaign 1 bought into the hero story, the push through to just be good. Like, yes, we're good, but we're not good players. Like characters. And
Yeah.
then campaign 2, every single character. It wasn't. I didn't really care what the main storyline was. I wanted to know what was going on with every single
Right.
character.
Backstories of everybody
Backstories
was
of
like really cool.
everyone was so cool.
I guess
3,
I
I've
guess
just
that's
not had
kind of
that,
true too.
that connection.
There isn't really a whole lot of backstory for each of the characters. Like Imogen,
Yeah. And I
it's
think
my mom. I
Pyrea
got
might-
mom problems.
I think Pyrea might be hitting the third reason why I'm having an issue with it. There's so many guests. Like, I'm
There's
not
a lot of guests.
tracking the story very well because you've got this person coming in and putting power to it, and this person coming in and putting power to it, and all of that.
Yeah,
but I do
and
love
Janelle
it
has a
at
good
the
point
same
too.
time.
That Imogen is like the main character of this campaign, which I mean, there's arguments to say that she's not, but she really
That
is.
that is a Laura Bailey trope, though, because
True.
Jester might as well have been the main campaign character for a very long portion of the series too.
I would argue that Caleb was the main character of campaign 2. I would
Yes.
argue that Caleb
No,
was the
I
main
agree.
character of campaign 2, only because of how closely connected everything
Yes.
was with I can't even remember their name, but the wizards of Dwendalian Empire.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. The arcane,
Yeah.
the
Somebody in chat, please fucking help us.
Help!
Oh my god. This is gonna kill me.
Yes, but I will say though, Janelle, that was not
Lewdness.
exactly supposed to happen. that
Cerberus
way.
Assembly. Nailed
Cerberus
it.
Assembly, yes.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
the Molly Mock thing was a rotation because Matt came out and said it halfway through season 2 that the villain was going to change from what they had planned.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And-
It was really interesting too, because like I remember him being in an interview and talking with Taliesin too about like, yeah, there was going to be a time where Molly Mock would just begin to have visions and like
Yeah.
changing of personality until the very end before possibly somebody would take over, or
Right.
it would just like leap out of him and become something on its own altogether, which was pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really liked campaign 2. Campaign 3 was hard to get into in the very beginning, but now I'm invested. And I understand the whole guesting thing. I get that. I think they're doing a pretty good job in how they're telling
Oh,
that
yeah.
story. Like splitting the party at that one moment during the Bloody Bridge when it, happened. Like that was really cool. And I think that's where I started getting into the campaign actually, where it was like, oh, there's stakes now. Like you can't cast sending, you can't teleport, you can't do all of these things that you usually can because there's some wacky god killer in the
Right,
sky
yeah.
that they're trying to release. Like, oh, and then yes, Fern is incredible.
Yeah, I
Fern
mean,
is a great
I will
great
say,
character.
I will say though, I think the last thing about this, and it has nothing to do with Critical Role, it has to do with life in general, is it's very hard to keep up with a 4-hour series.
Getting 4
every
hours a
single
week.
Like,
So that's the thing too. So I got invited to this thing.
yeah.
I was back on like 83 because and the reason why is because I have been so busy since Gen Con last year.
Yeah.
June is like the first time that I didn't have something going on every single week, let alone 3 or 4 things every week. Because I mean, just this week is a little little crazy. I have 4 things going on, but that's the first week in all of June that anything like that has happened. Every other week, it's just Ravenloft and then maybe something else. Most of
Yeah.
it has not been that way. And so I haven't been able to watch 4
Right.
hours a week. And then, so what I ended up doing was just going on criticalrole.com. They have their own recaps there, which are super great. Like,
Yeah.
really, really succinct and tells a lot of the story already,
Right.
minus all of like the small things that you get to see when you actually watch,
Right.
like,
You might have to
characters going
send
back
that
and
to me,
forth.
'cause I might need to catch up just
Yeah.
so I can see what, especially if I'm going to watch the live show, knowing that not only you, but like a lot of my friends were there and other content creators were there. So
The live show was so good.
Yeah.
And I am so excited to see what happens after this, because it's not just the main campaign anymore. There is a huge thing that they like. Oh man,
yeah,
it's going to be really great.
Boss Jelly Bean is stating the
If-
live show end was so good.
If you liked stories outside of the main campaign, they're going to be continuing / doing another one of the series.
Okay.
And that's all I'll say.
I mean, I'm
It's great.
looking forward to. I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking forward to the animated version for campaign 2. Like,
That, yeah, they started voicing that just recently. Like,
yeah,
they started getting into the voice
please
booths.
bring that one to life. Like, I am so
Yeah,
excited.
that one
to
is gonna
see
be great.
Caleb's story specifically. Just, yeah, I completely agree with you though. Is I think Caleb was the main character and Bo was like the side character for that one.
Yeah,
Because they were
a supporting
so
character
tied
for sure.
into the Dwendalian Empire.
Yeah,
which was the big
and
one.
I think Ford had a really cool story, but I
They
mean,
had arcs. They had really good
after-
arcs.
yeah, but then once the arc was over, it was over.
It was
like, I mean,
over.
what's her face appeared one time after that, and then like they fucking killed her,
Yeah,
and then
whatever her face was,
That
had
was
the
it.
Other had the other
Yeah.
eyeball, and
Caduceus was just along for the ride, just drinking tea and getting high
Bro,
on mushrooms.
nothing wrong
Like,
with that.
like that was all he did. And
No,
it was
nothing
great.
wrong with
It was
that.
great.
I
Absolutely.
will say though, I really liked his story when you met his family. That was very
Yes.
well done. Like
The
very
big
well
big
done.
family,
Yeah.
and God, Matt is just so good
Oh, he
at
is.
acting, obviously, because he's been doing it for so long, but
Mm-hmm.
like being able to hop into all of those different characters as well as remember like their voices, their mannerisms, and what they
I
think,
can't
what they
imagine
feel.
How many times he has re-listened to episodes though to make sure
He says
that
he doesn't.
That's
He says he
insane.
doesn't, which is nuts.
I
Like,
could- I
even
could
I have to
not.
go back every once in a while. Like,
especially if I have like a big character that I worked with for weeks and then he
Right.
disappeared for a while. I have to go back and make sure that I know kind of his voice patterns.
Yeah.
Mind you, I'm not a voice actor. I'm not professional at any of this.
right.
So
Yeah, we just
people are
do
not
this
gonna
for
yell at
fun,
me.
and then like
I have
we get
4
cool
good
stuff every
voice-
once in a while.
I get 4 cool voices, and that's about all you get from me. So, yeah, his notes are insane. I have seen somebody had leaked, or he had leaked his notes on Reddit a couple years ago, and you got to see the episode where he was building up. They were going underneath Jester's, or not Jester's, the gentleman's area to go find something when they were dealing with the cloakers, and it had like
Oh.
all of the notes drawn out of like who the characters were, who the NPCs were.
Wow, interesting.
Little quote motions of like this is their quotes. I was like,
Oh
holy
yeah.
shit! like,
That's wild.
Bro's got notes.
That's a good idea though. Having a quote that like
Yeah.
you can easily like a
Um,
puzzle piece, just connect right after
so if you
not
like
running
that-
somebody for so long.
If you like that, this is
That's a
book,
cool idea.
This is a book I want to recommend for you. Then
Non-player characters.
so
Looking that up.
this is
now.
from Jeff Ashworth, but there's a bunch of people that have written onto it. But one of the main things about the characters is it tells you how to kind of build characters. So, oh yeah, this is not gonna work, is it? No, not at all. Jesus.
That's a great book. I love
Right,
it.
great book.
It has a 4.5 out of 5 on Amazon
Yeah.
with over 3,000 reviews.
Yeah, but I think
That's incredible.
I think I bought this at like Joann
And it's only
Fabrics.
17 bucks.
Yeah, I think I bought it like Joann Fabrics or like Target. Like it wasn't even like a random. Like it was just a random area. But they have a whole series. They've got the NPCs. They've got non-player or random encounters. They have traps and puzzles. Sorry, left for a second to tell Pi all the secrets. What we talking about?
Oh, we're talking about non-playable characters, the book
Yeah. So
by
Jeff.
what was the name?
Ashcroft.
Oh, Jasmine Ballard was in there.
Yeah.
Ballard?
Yeah.
I haven't heard
So they have a whole set of them though.
her name said out loud. Only read it.
I have that one. I mean, there's people that don't like it, but like I love the. I wish he would just rename it differently. The Lazy DM Guide. I love it.
Oh.
There's that
Okay.
one too.
I didn't know that was the same writer.
No, it's
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
No,
I
no,
have-
it's not.
it's not, okay.
No. That's Sly
I have the Lazy DM. I just also
Yeah.
I can't I hate reading.
I use his template for almost every episode. Like that's all I
need
use it
to-
for.
I need to
I like
read
his
that.
template where it's story beats, it's NPC names, it's magic items that could be found, it's monsters that could be found, and it's like 10 different secrets that might be, and then don't put where they're at or when you find them, but it allows you then to grab
cool.
them when you need them to pull
Right.
from things. Like let's say they get a letter or
Interesting.
they get a they talk to an NPC and they need to get extra information. Yeah, Jeff Ashworth I think does the big maps and puzzles book as well. I think. I don't know.
That's cool.
But yeah.
God damn it. I need to read shit.
Right?
It's the bane of my existence.
Yeah, I mean there's
his video games are a thing.
there's an entire bookshelf there and I think I've read like maybe a fourth of like 3 books. But and I have another
Time.
bookshelf on this side which is what I'm reaching for because that's where all my extra games are at.
I have a
But,
bookshelf of D&D books that
That's all it is.
I barely even
That's all
open.
they are. They're all D&D or
Yep.
GUI Cube books, random TTRPGs that either I've been sent or I said, "Ooh, that looks fun. I'll run this one day," and then never run it.
And then don't. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel that's so fucking
Makes me
bad.
feel bad about life, but I do. It just is what it is.
That is once again the GM experience.
It really
That
is.
is just how it works.
It's how it
I got
works.
Call of the Nether Deep. I have Out of the Abyss. I have Rise of Tiamat, which I did end up running.
I loved
thankfully.
Rise of Tiamat.
It was good.
I thought for
it had
was
a lot that you had to add.
surprise that everyone was telling me it was going to be a very hard one to run, and I thought it was so simple. Like I was like, oh no, this is
it was
easy.
super
The
simple.
story drives itself, and if they dive into other areas, there's enough details that can either get you back on track or move you through it. And
Right.
this is perfect.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very episodic too,
Yep.
so it's a lot easier to just
Yeah.
prep things the way that you want them to be prepped, and then
Mm-hmm.
the last battle in the very end in the volcano, they literally stopped the ritual on round 9.
Wow.
They were 1 round away from Tiamat jumping out and just fucking wrecking their shit. And I like, they finished it, they killed everybody, and I was like, cool. Let's see what happens if it actually came out. And I TPK'd
Oh, yeah.
immediately. Like, it was not even fair.
We did it. I had the Icewind Dale campaign last night with my home group, and they decided last episode that they were going to, instead of working on getting to get rid of the Frost Maiden, now they're just trying to convert everyone to Tiamat. That is their goal now. To the point where
Honestly, there are worse things.
there are many worse things. But our player thought she had found Nozer's magical paints. And instead she had been drugged. And we did an entire dream scene, which they didn't realize, where they were fighting a paper-sized, about this big, version of Tiamat, and that thing wiped the floor with them.
Oh man,
Like
that's so
killed
funny.
killed off 3 of the characters. Everybody was sitting there like stressed out to a max, and then I'm like, "And Rowan, you wake up," and she's like, "What?" I was like, "Yeah, you got paint all over your face. You're covered," and she's like, "That was all a dream."
Everything's
I was like,
fine
"Yeah,"
now.
and it was all in your head. So the rest of the players did not see any.
Nobody knows. You're just in your sleep like
In your sleep, like swinging around, and it was great. And now they're trying to deal with. They're trying to get the right speaker to take over in Good Mead right now. That's their goal right now. So
I've actually never read Rime of the Frost.
yeah, I know you haven't, but
Maiden.
I know Janelle's in here as well, so I'm sure she's getting a little giddy.
Yeah, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, I think that's her favorite one.
Yeah, that's what her and I have talked about.
Out of all of them, yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hate to be this person, but it is after 10 o'clock, and we've done our hour here at the tavern.
Yeah.
Anything before we go that you would like to say?
Just keep an eye out on socials towards the end of July. There's going to be some Candela stuff happening. We'll be getting some stuff ready. That's my biggest thing. Outside of that, I am just excited to be at Gen Con and actually meet everybody in person. It's going to be so cool. It's going to be completely different from last year because last year I didn't know anyone and I was just walking around like trying to find friends, and I was like,
well, now you're gonna have a whole slew.
I'm
friends.
also shy as shit. So
yep, same. But when I get into that,
when I get into
that element, it's completely different. Like I'm completely
right, exactly.
that person.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like here, I'm good. I know you.
Yeah,
that's fine. And then people that are watching, they're just a number. They're not like actual people, right?
Actual people, right? So yeah, check him out. I'm going to do something because he forgets this one, but it's funny because our next guest is going to be also a part of this situation. So our next guest is AJ Winters, who is a part of Castleton.
Castleton. God, I always fucking forget Castleton. I'm in
Many
Castleton.
of our players have been, or many of our players for Candela, as well as people that are in the chat right now, are all a part of this amazing opportunity. And we're going to find out what that's all about at our next show. That will not be next week. I will be in San Antonio next week. If anybody is in the area, give me a shout out. We can meet up for lunch or dinner or something like that and hang out, roll dice, whatever. But for July 3rd, let's get as many people as we can here, as AJ Winters is going to pop in here for the tavern, and we're going to find out
be worth it.
Everything Castleton. Everything.
100%.
I can ask questions.
The amount of work that AJ has put into this one project, she is like working almost around the clock. The only thing that she is doing outside of sleeping is Castleton. So it is a 100% worth just to look at how her work, how her work is going, like how she's doing this, her work process, and then how she's creating like the schedule and how she's having people do things. Like Janelle created the website, and then now people are taking over and the mods, and there's so many moving parts into Castleton that it's such an incredible thing that I know that AJ is going to have a wealth of advice and just experience to just share with everybody. So yeah, that's definitely going to be worth it for sure. I'll be there.
I'll be there. At least I'll be there. All right.
For sure.
Well, thank you once again for coming over, hanging out with us tonight. It was great to talk some Candela Obscura, finding out about the cool things that are going on over at the Critical Role Theater. And, of course, if you like this guy and you kind of like me, hop over to North Wolf's channel tomorrow night as we are going to continue our Chapter 1 of Candela Obscura. You can find out what's going on with
that. And
continue.
One of the two.
I'm not sure what's going on yet.
Who knows?
We'll figure it out. Anyways, I, of course, am Tabletop Misfits. You can find us every week here on at 9 o'clock, where I interview random people that are amazing, that are out in this community. And I have the honor to do so. You can also check me out on Monday nights, which this week will be ran as a one-shot from our wonderful Goblin, who is going to be running a game while I'm out and about. And then, of course, tomorrow night, come check us out over on Candela. But until then, I hope everybody has a wonderful week. Raise your glasses high, as is our last call, and we'll see you guys all next week, or 2 weeks, for Tavern Talks. Have a wonderful night. That transition did not go the way I wanted it to.
Yeah, that was weird. Are you on studio mode? Okay. Sometimes. Oh.